Hey everyone, Nate Hedrick here, the Real Estate RPH. Welcome to part 5 of our 6-part series all about how to buy a home. Today we're going to be talking about negotiations. So you found a place, you followed the steps in 1 through 4, and now you're ready to put in an offer. So we're going to talk about what that looks like and some ways that you can navigate through the negotiation process. So everything starts with an offer, and this is often referred to as a purchase agreement or a contract. There's several different names that are used in the industry, but effectively you are offering something for the property that's up for sale. And this purchase agreement usually encompasses several different aspects and has a number of conditions associated with it. So the obvious ones are things like the actual purchase price and what you're going to be paying for the home, the type of financing that you're going to be using, any seller's assistance or money that's going to be given back to you once the house closes as part of the selling process. And then any contingencies that you might have. And these can include things like inspections, financing contingencies, a contingency for your own home to sell. There are a number of things that you can build into the contract. But basically it is terms that you as the buyer and the seller are trying to agree to. And you start the process by making that offer based on what you think the home is worth and the conditions that you want to present. Now, there are many different techniques and strategies that you can employ when trying to negotiate the price of a home. And a lot of it is going to come down to the parameters surrounding that property. So for example, if you've got someone who's lived there for 30 years, they worked on the house, they raised their kids in that house, and they're reluctantly downsizing, that person is going to add a lot more emotional attachment to that negotiation. If you come in with a lowball offer, come well below purchase price, they're going to look at that very differently than someone that's just looking at the finances and the numbers. So one of the things that you can do with someone like this is you can try to write a letter. You can make sure that you offer a price that is close to your top number, and then really coming into that negotiation with the idea that I'm not looking to throw around low numbers and eventually get to some number in between. I'm offering what I think this property is worth, and I'm respecting your number up front by giving you this higher offer. The converse to that is you've got someone that's maybe had a family member pass away, and they have no emotional attachment to this home. They are just trying to offload it to settle the estate. You can approach the negotiation very differently. You could walk in with comparable properties, with recent home sales, and other values that support your determination of value. And then you can come to them and say, look, this is the best I can offer based on what I'm seeing in the area. And you can really try to negotiate much more strictly with those individuals. So take into account the seller's shoes. You really got to put yourself in their place when making an offer. It's not just about how do I get the bottom dollar. It's by looking at how is the seller going to appreciate this and what would I do in that situation, and then trying to cater off of that. So make sure you use your agent and make sure you have a great agent when it comes to the negotiations, because they can be the neutral third party that really helps drive those discussions. One of the questions that I get a lot at this point in the process is, what is earnest money or a good faith deposit? And so effectively what this is once you have a signed purchase agreement or a signed offer and you are moving forward on the deal, going through inspections, all the things that we're going to talk about in our next video, you want to have some money at the table that basically would go to the seller if you were to back out of the deal for some unagreed upon reason, right? So if you put contingencies in place and you follow those contingencies and you have to back out of the deal because of one of those issues, you get your money back. That earnest money comes back to you. But if you back out just because you got cold feet or you found a better house or you name it, that seller is going to get that money as part of the deal for taking that house off the market while they waited for you to figure things out. So normally that money is held by a third party. Often the way that I'll write it into my contracts is that my brokerage will actually hold on to that money as a third party. And again, depending on the outcome of the deal, that money either gets paid back to the buyer or it will go to the seller and count toward the total purchase price of the home when everything closes. So earnest money is something that you need to have in hand at the time of putting in the offer. And then once the offer gets accepted, that will actually be taken out of your account and used as collateral for the deal. Finally, keep in mind that even if you get an accepted offer, negotiations don't have to be done there. Once inspections take place and you figure out a little bit more about that property, there is an opportunity to go back and renegotiate. And that's why those contingencies I mentioned are so important. you want to make sure that you've got certain contingencies in place that protect you in case you discover something on an inspection. So if you go in and the foundation is cracking, but you didn't realize that because you're not an expert, which is completely reasonable, you want to make sure you have some sort of out clause. Again, a good agent, a good contract will make sure that all this is in place. And then once you actually do that inspection, if there are major concerns that you find and you need to renegotiate on price or you need to walk away from that deal entirely, you should have clauses in your contract or your offer agreement that allows you to do that. So again, make sure that you don't stop negotiations once that offer is accepted. Use the information that you learn along the way to make sure that the deal works out best for you.